A student enters the classroom only to be loudly reprimanded by the principal for not paying his tuition. He says his father will pay, but the principal still tells him to go away. This is a poor country in Malawi where there is not even electricity and school fees are $80 a year. He asked his dad if he could pay it tomorrow, and his dad said that it depended on the weather, and that he would pay him when the rain stopped to make sure that he could grow a crop this year. Unfortunately, the rain wouldn't stop and caused a flood. Dad desperately tried to bring back some seeds from the field, but to no avail. Taking stock of what was left, there was only enough food to feed the family for 2 months, and the next harvest would have to wait a year. To make matters worse, the torrential rains are followed by a drought, so there will be no harvest next year either, and the whole region will be in dire straits. School was out of the question for the boy, but he was hungry for knowledge and really wanted to go to school. One day, he happened to see the science teacher's bicycle, which could generate electricity to light up a light bulb by pedaling the wheels. This was like a ray of light shining into this poor boy's eyes. He had a bold idea: why not generate electricity to pump water to solve the drought? But unfortunately, there was no electricity at all in this place. He went to the garbage heap left by the multinational company. He was lucky to find used batteries, a small pump and some small parts. In order to carry out the experiment, he needed to understand the principle of power generation. He thought of many ways to do this and eventually blended into a part of the school library where he had to have paid tuition to enter. He immediately found a book, Energy Utilization, and he crouched voraciously to study it. A 13-year-old boy got a friend to handle the bark of a tree to wind a coil and remove the little motor of a radio. Surprisingly, he managed to make a wind turbine. Do you think it can find water? The boy, who can only eat 1 meal a day, shows his dad his invention to make the radio go off. He wants to make a real power generator and pump water from the ground to beat the drought. Dad seems pleased. The boy says he will cut up Dad's bicycle as part of the generator. Dad asks what makes him believe that this toy will solve the problem. The boy replies that it is because he knows something that Dad doesn't, because he went to school. Dad, who hadn't eaten for days, smashed his windmill with a slap, angrily scolded his son for not being allowed to touch these things anymore, and demanded that he plow and plant the land together. However, there is no food in the arid land, and only despair lies ahead. To make matters worse, in broad daylight, starving people stormed into their home and snatched the last few bales of corn. The family had lost everything and were about to starve to death. The dad has a long talk with his son about how life is sometimes a dream and sometimes a lie. The boy comforts his dad by saying that he has never been disappointed in him and that at least he once studied. He is convinced that his invention can make water flow. Dad finally agrees, and they finally cut open the bike. Together, the villagers build a wind turbine, and soon it begins to turn and water flows out of the ground. It was real, not a dream. The arid land finally had water, and father and son hugged each other tightly as they saw the dawn of hope. God is everywhere, and the turning windmill represents their hope. Knowledge can't directly change destiny, but it gives us more choices and a broader vision. Ultimately, we need the courage to change in order to truly move forward. For a family, a village, or even a nation, more people need to dare to take a step forward. The movie is based on a true story and is very inspirational. But some people ask why they don't use the well for irrigation, instead of relying on this rudimentary pumping device when there is water in the well. Is this about how smart the child is or how lazy and numb everyone else is? I can't answer that question, and I don't know if it makes sense to pick a borehole for irrigation in the midst of a severe drought in primitive farming conditions like Malawi. Many urbanites are far from the poor areas. Some people used to use the word lazy to describe everything about poverty. But please don't forget how much effort our forefathers put in to fill our bellies in recent decades. Learn to take the bitter with the sweet and build a community of destiny together. Only in this way can we and humanity as a whole go further.